Right then, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel for another tier list with Joe. Say hello,
We are
Joe.
back.
Yes. So we previously did one of these about the 11th Doctor Matt Smith era. I thought that for the next one, Capaldi, the 12th Doctor, made sense.
Yeah,
Um, I
our
mean,
era, kind of.
yeah, and it is chronological as well. It happens to be, I discovered you through your Capaldi costumes as well. You're a big Capaldi costume expert, as we can see there,
There we go.
among other doctors, but particularly with Capaldi, that's where it started, isn't it? So I think all round it makes sense to do this one next. So Series 8, we're back in 2014. This is 11 years ago now. It's
It's ages and
crazy,
it's
isn't it? It's
time.
crazy. Of course, I should say as well, these first few episodes, they leaked beforehand. I remember at the time hearing bits and pieces like, I think people had obviously read the scripts or watched episodes or
Mm.
both and kind of picked up on, or tried to pick up on what the overarching themes and things were going to be. So I remember hearing a lot of stuff about the Promised Land beforehand, which in the end, really, I mean, it's obviously part of the bigger thing with Missy and Heather and stuff, but it's just really, you only really get that in Deep Breath and Robot Sherwood with the two sets of robots or
Yeah.
droids there. So Deep Breath, what do we think of this? I mean, it was a longer episode, wasn't it? It was
Mm.
coming off the back of the 50th, another one that was screened in cinemas, bumper length, like 70 odd minutes, I think, or whatever. 75 maybe.
It's a hard watch. I think it's mid ground for me. It's like
Right,
it's not like a Rose. It's not like I'd even say it's worse than Christmas Invasion. For a Doctor introductory story.
right, yeah.
And Tennant's barely in that, and it's nowhere near like 11th Hour or Woman Who Fell to Earth. It falls in this really weird like
Hmm.
area where it's got a good subplot of the Clockwork droids obviously returning, just a different. It's a
It's a
different
nice little
spaceship, isn't
link
it?
to the past. Yes, the
I
SS,
believe
something or other, something else. Yeah.
Pentalion or whatever, something along those
Some
lines.
other French aristocrat, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like it's all right, but there's a lot of weird Capaldi lines that are like a carryover from the Matt Smith era, like when he calls the dinosaur
Oh,
sexy, and it's
sexy.
just
Yes.
there's a lot of strange
Yeah,
stuff
it's a
before he
very
becomes the Doctor.
I think as well, yeah. I mean, there are great moments like where he escapes and gets onto the horse and
Yeah,
little hints towards his personality where he's like he finds it so upsetting when the dinosaur dies and they're down there on the banks of the Thames or whatever and there's the big
and he has
fire
that really
in the
nice bit.
background. Yeah, and but yeah, I think overall as a story, yeah, I probably thought more of it at the time than I do now necessarily. I think it is a bit overlong. It's there's a lot of kind of like breathing space to establish this new Doctor and the feel of it and whatever. But ultimately, I mean, it's kind of like 45 minutes, I guess, of just like being in Victorian London with the Paternoster gang and just chilling.
Yeah,
And then you're going to reach that midpoint where it gets a bit more interesting, where the Doctor and Clara are reunited again.
just feels a bit too
I do
much
like the
pre-established stuff in it. You know what I
you're not
mean?
enough kind of like
For a
new
new
stuff
era.
for a new era. Yeah, yeah. I was going to say the half-faced man I love and the whole thing at the end with the confrontation between him and the Doctor and the thing about the new broom and all that kind of
Mm.
stuff. It is the same broom. So I think for this, and we should say we've got our five tiers here. Heaven Sent, a good episode, roughing off a good man. Say something nice, shut up and stick it in the vaults. Use this
Say
for middle
something nice.
ground. Do you think middle ground for this? Yeah, I think that makes sense. Let's
Well,
do
the
that then.
thing we've forgotten as well is that there's the weird Matt Smith phone call at the end.
Don't know what I think of that. It's kind
Why
of
does the
I
that's
can
nuts?
see why they did it, but also it's like yeah, like you
Are
would
you
never do that
admitting
again.
that
It's
you
just it
maybe
wouldn't.
think the casting would have had a weird reaction? Because there was that whole thing at the
Yeah,
time
I
that
guess so, isn't it?
absolutely ridiculous. He was too old, and it was almost like a
Mm.
reactionary
Well, I suppose
thing to
it
what.
was a departure from what we'd
Yeah,
had so far in the new series, wasn't it? Like the first time since the classic era that we had an older Doctor. So I can see why, and yeah, I don't know, but it feels a bit weird. There's more stuff like that. We'll get on to, I suppose, as
mm,
the series goes on, series eight, where they kind of push the boundaries of it and maybe sometimes for the sake of it, kind of making him a bit spikier or edgier. But there are
mm.
interesting ideas in there as well. I mean, into Dalek next up, the whole idea of, oh, am I a good man being brought up again? Like, he's more sort of plagued and troubled by the decisions that he has to make, isn't he? And the idea of the greater good and, can I do certain things and still call myself a good man, still call myself the Doctor. Um, so this one, maybe similar again to Deep Breath, maybe slightly higher. I don't know. I think I love the vibe of it, like Daleks in space,
Mm.
like standalone Dalek story that's not a big finale or something. It kind of feels like it occupies that space nicely.
It just feels like a Dalek rehash, though. You know, like the personal relationship
Yes,
between the Doctor and
yes,
Dalek. And it's just, I
that's
don't
true.
buy the whole there's a good Dalek thing. Like, I quite like the idea where it was radiation leakage that had made it go weird. And then as soon as they fix it, it starts
Yes,
going
and that
berserk.
I was gonna say that twist is a bit obvious. The twist of like, oh,
Yeah.
we've fixed it, and suddenly we've taken away what was making it good. So, oh, shock horror! It's turned evil again. It's turned like back into a
Yeah.
Dalek. Oh, never saw that one coming. I suppose that that bit where like Capaldi has his little monologues about and I see divinity, beauty, hatred. That bit that was in the trailer as well between him and the Dalek, where he's like there blown up with all these images being projected behind him
Yeah.
from previous episodes. That feels a little bit cringe as well.
Yeah.
There's some great action though, like model work, and well, it's kind of obvious the models, it's the character options, Dalek when they use them. But I love the ambition of that, and Daleks fighting Daleks in space, and all these visual effects shots and things. I would say probably there for that. Would you agree with
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, over that. It's definitely stronger than Deep
So,
Breath.
Robot of Sherwood next.
This is personal for you, so
It's
this is going
personal
to be
for
a
me.
bit different. Yeah.
Yeah, I think even so, it's a little bit underrated, perhaps. I think overlooked. It's nice having like an older Doctor, spiky Doctor, in a story that like would have fit Smith very well, and
Mm.
the interplay between him and Robin Hood, and again continuing this idea of like, oh, who is the Doctor? What is the Doctor? What does the Doctor stand for? Like, is he a hero? And kind of comparing that with Robin Hood. I like the design of the robots as well, and like I was saying, the
Oh,
whole
they're
Promised
brilliant.
Land motif.
Was it originally a Smith script? Have I got that right? Was it
I
or envisioned
I
for
think I've heard
Smith?
people say that before. I don't
Necessarily know it's
know.
true.
I'm yeah. I'd have to check. I'm
It
not
feels the
sure.
most Matt Smith in the way Doctor speak is.
I mean,
Because,
for
like,
me, I would say that kind of works.
yeah,
That contrast between the Matt Smith, that is a
and Peter plays
the
it different,
opposite of him.
obviously.
Yeah, in this Matt Smith script, taking him and putting him into a different, yeah, that different feel, different tone, different setting. I wouldn't put it in any of the top two tiers. I think it's still
It's mid
probably
again.
kind of middling again, isn't it? Really,
It's not
above Into
above
the
Into the
Dalek or below?
Dalek.
Yeah, I think kind of probably between
Between the
what we've
two,
had so
maybe.
far. Yeah, that
Just
makes
because of your
sense.
personal relationship with it, and you got to keep
Yes, there
Peter,
there is
so
that as well, of course. Yeah.
yeah.
Now listen,
I
I
used to
don't know how
love
you
this.
you feel about this. I see for me, it still works. It's yeah, it's up there for me. This
I
one.
think what happened is I developed a critical brain, then I realized, is it just a child under, the sheet like that? Like,
But even if it is,
was
that's
there
it's
never
like,
anything there?
but that's kind of the point, isn't it? It's well, I mean,
I know,
yeah,
but
okay,
it makes the episode
and
feel
it's open
completely.
ended. And I get it's one of those Moffat ones where it's a bit frustrating because like he refuses to just give an answer, and then so it's
Yeah.
like you're left wondering. Is it a bit kind of Big Fritz boots in that sense? Like, oh,
And
just make your mind up.
12th
Just
Doctor
just
and Clara need putting on a register, I'm telling you, turning up to a children's home in the dead of night.
oh God. Oh, but for me, this, yeah, I've got to say, I mean, it's basically like a series of set pieces, like the one with the blanket and the orphanage, the kid in the blanket,
Yeah.
and the stuff in the future, and the stuff with the Clara and Danny date as well, which I really like, the way that kind of goes
Mm.
back and
That's
forth,
well
and
written
like,
as an introductory to a side
yeah, like it's like,
companion.
she
Not
messes
quite
up,
proper.
and then she
Yeah.
comes back and tries again, then he messes up, and whatever, and it's like that kind of nice interplay where that kind of feels
It's
like a very
relatable.
real kind of
Yeah.
relationship for me, where it's not
Yeah.
some one-sided. It's they're both kind of coming to it with their flaws and stuff. I would be tempted to put this kind of right at the top, but are you gonna influence me here? Kind of bring it further down? Or Heaven
A
Sent?
good
Heaven
episode, I'd
Sent?
put it. Top of good episode. I don't think it's Heaven Sent. My
Crikey!
opinion's wavered on it just because of the concept of it.
I'll let you have it. Just
Yeah.
a bit of balance there. Yeah. Okay.
It's one of those ones I find people either love or hate it. I don't actually often see them
Yes.
go, oh, this is just okay.
So Time Heist is it another kind of middling one? Really? This kind of just
I
nothing
think it's in
too.
Shut Up, to be honest. It's a little bit irritating.
I'd get behind that. Yeah. Okay.
It's I
That
just
was
don't
easy.
care. I don't
Yeah,
care about
I-
Computer Man. I don't care about Morphing
it's,
Lady.
it's Stephen Thompson again, isn't it? Like Curse of the Black Spot and
Yeah,
Jones Thunder at the TARDIS, and it's another one where a bit like with Hyde, it's like oh the alien is just
nothing.
a good guy
Just
really who's like he's missing his partner.
being forced
They've,
into
they've
it.
been
Yeah,
split up. Yeah, it's quite a fast moving story as well. I always kind of enjoyed like stylistically the idea playing into the whole genre of like bank heists and stuff. And there's some like creative stuff where it's the same corridor but like with different lighting, and they're clearly doing it on a budget, but I kind of like some of that. And the Teller's a great design as well. The Teller is the caretaker. This will be interesting.
a good episode, I think. It's not like Stellar, but I actually think the
Interesting.
Scovox Blitzer is a bit shit. But the relationship between the Doctor, Clara,
Mm,
and Danny, it helps with the overarching plot of what's going on. You
yes.
know what I mean?
I think
It's
that
the most
I
well
would agree
written
to an extent as well. I think it's one that is overlooked. Obviously, the writer isn't the most popular guy anymore,
person.
but I think, yeah, like you say, the way that it plays in, it's the midpoint of the series, and I suppose Moffat would have had quite a hand in it as well, and the way that the Doctor and the Clara and Danny relationship kind of comes
Mm.
together, that triangle almost, it's a very important one there, and
It has a few
so
sweet
yeah,
moments.
and
You know,
the
like when
dramatic irony
Capaldi,
of him being there in disguise, and it's
yeah.
kind of like a bit of a farce, a bit of a comedy almost.
But you know when Capaldi
Who
gets the
knows what?
boyfriend confused and has that nice, like the one in
Yeah,
the bow
yeah,
tie, and he has that.
uh-huh.
He just has that smile on his face where he's so happy for her, and then later on there's that comedic bit where he's like, "What him?" You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
The Doctor's dislike of Danny across the whole series. Do
Hmm.
we think that's perhaps slightly kind of
I think it,
overplayed or
it comes off a
over-egged?
little strong.
Yeah, but even so, I'd still say with this, I'm not going to put it on the same level as Listen, but I'll put it at the top. There we
At the
go.
top.
Of say something nice. I think it is definitely one that people do sleep on a little bit in terms of the character stuff in there. Kill the Moon.
Oh
Where do
gosh.
we sit with this?
It's got to be Stick It in the Vault, and it's just like the worst allegory for like abortion you can possibly do. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the greatest thing in the world when you think about the
It's very
context.
interesting because I think repeatedly the writers, Peter Harness and
Yeah.
Stephen Moffat, obviously, have both repeatedly said, "Oh, that wasn't the intention with it." Even
But
so,
sorry, the
the
plot
way
is like
that
in your
whether
face.
yeah, and whether it was it or not,
Yeah.
it's still obviously very valid for people to interpret it however they like and however it resonates with them. And that is definitely a reading which obviously for many years people have been grappling with and saying, "Oh, this doesn't look great," to say the
It's
least.
just not a subject you should touch about aborting babies. I just feel like in any media, just don't touch it. You know what I mean? It's one of those no-goes.
Yeah, it's kind of it's close to the bone, isn't it? It's.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of to an extent, I suppose, the point of the episode, not specifically with regards to that subject matter, but just in terms of kind of pushing the Doctor and Clara apart as well. Again, that feels a bit weird. I mean, I get what they're going for with Capaldi and the 12th Doctor, and I like the idea to an extent that he is wanting to just step aside and kind of let the humans work this out for themselves and not,
But the way it's written,
get
the
too
way he fucks
involved.
off, it's a bit like, ugh.
It's a little bit too, yeah, kind of it comes across as just yeah, like you wouldn't do that. Like the Doctor Who would not
Negligent
just do
father
that.
going, nah. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Um I'd be happy to stick it in the vault. I mean I do
Yeah.
enjoy a lot of the stuff on the lunar surface, the location work there and the visual effects
In
work
Lanzarote,
and
isn't it?
Lanzarote, yeah. And I think Hermione, what's her name, is pretty good as well. But yeah, ultimately, and even with the writing of it as well, the pacing it feels a bit odd in the first half where they go march across to this base or whatever, and then they march back to the rocket, and it's like the
Hmm.
constant back and forth, and it just feels a bit nothing. In that regard, and that's before we even get onto the controversial stuff later on. So, Mummy on the Orient Express, is this as good as people say it is?
You know something? I was watching it the other day with my parents. Just had it on. It's really boring at times. It's quite slow. It's a good plot,
Uh-huh.
but it's like the whole Gus thing never gets addressed again. And I guess that isn't the fault of the story itself, because I think
Hmm.
that was potentially being set up as something that never came to fruition, obviously, for whatever
Yes.
reason. There are moments in it, a bit like when Maisie and Clara with the sarcophagus. it slows
Yes.
down, and it's just like, what? A bit like,
Yeah, her guilt over
yeah,
that old woman who's not even her mother or whatever it is.
yeah.
Yeah,
And it feels a bit
there's
loopy,
stuff like that.
weirdy, trying to do the mental gymnastics to get round that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would argue we should put it between the caretaker and Listen, I think. I
Yeah.
would say. 'Cause I still think it is good, possibly a little bit overrated. I mean, the Foretold is great. I like, for the most part, the way the Doctor is written in this. I think it's one of the more successful attempts at playing with this outwardly more,
Mm.
less morally ambiguous Doctor, but actually, like internally, there is a logic there to like what he's doing and his actions and his morals and stuff. Like he is actually working for the greater good. There's that moment, isn't there, towards the end where it all kind of becomes clear, but his methods aren't always necessarily. They don't
Questionable.
always appear. Yeah, they don't always appear to be good in the moment. It's a bit of a seventh Doctor thing, I suppose, isn't it? Where it's like the bigger plan at work. I would say probably there. I think for that one. I mean, obviously the same writer again for Flatline, which I think did he write that one first? I think they were written in the opposite order. Jamie Matheson. This is one that I've appreciated more. I think as time has gone on. I think as a kid, I saw that it was getting all this acclaim and stuff. And again, actually, I thought it was a bit of a boring one, a bit of a dull one. It's a very grey episode, very kind of like
Mm.
dull to look at in terms of the colour palette and everything. But I do appreciate the character stuff in there, like the beginning of the Clara kind of becoming the Doctor, that whole thing, and whatever.
But it's also the beginning of where this becomes Clara Who as well. And they play
Yes,
into that later on where it's a bit like,
yes.
I
Well,
get he's setting up
there's
for
more
Series
irritating
9,
stuff to
but
come in that
yeah.
regard, but but yes,
Like it's a bit of
I would
fun
say
here
here it's
because he's
yeah,
she's mocking him. Yeah.
yeah, and the character stuff and the whole visual of the TARDIS shrinking, all that
Mm.
stuff, and him trying to like get out of it as well. Like, it is all very fun. I
Adam's
remember when that
family
was being
style.
filmed, and yeah, and the location stuff. Like I said, the locations generally they're not the
Mm.
most interesting locations. They're very dull and mundane, I suppose, which is kind of the point for
Somewhere
some
in
of it.
Bristol, probably, in it.
Yeah, and it's not like the actual locations are all down like in Barry Islands. It's more like Aaron and Stacey really than anything else. Just like with a very dull color palette. But I like the boneless, and I find yeah, as time has gone on, I've appreciated more in it and the creativity of it. So that are we going to put that above or below Mummy? Do we think? So I think that
Below
it
Mummy. I
belongs
do think
next
it
to
belongs
Mummy.
on that tier, but
Yeah, let's
below
stick it
Mummy.
there. Let's stick it there. So the next episode in the Forest of the Night. We know where this is going to go, right?
Listen, a child talking to butterflies or trees or whatever.
Yeah.
Just, and
The
then
thing
her
with this
sister
one as
being
well, I
in
mean,
a bush at the end.
yeah, that's unforgivable. I suppose actually for the same reasons as the caretaker, for the character stuff with the Doctor
Mm.
and Clara and Danny, and how integral it is to the kind of overall thing with them. It's like the last time they're all together before he gets hit by a car. But like, yeah,
Way of
it's,
putting it. Last time they're
it's like
together before they
it's
get
an
Pirelli.
important part. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, there is value in it there, but I think overall it just misses the mark. It doesn't deliver on the premise. It's cringy. I mean, I remember reading in the Radio Times at the start of the series when they used to have the big like Stephen Moffat's guide to the whole series, episode guide. And I remember reading the synopsis for this and thinking, oh, like, that sounds really good. Like London, like full of trees and woods and forests and stuff.
Oh,
It
it's
just
going to be a
doesn't quite.
crinoid or whatever. Yeah,
Oh
something.
yeah, yeah. Apart from the odd like visual effects shot, it doesn't quite deliver on that.
How wrong we were.
I'd be happy with putting in the forest at the bottom, but I mean,
You know what? I'll put it above Kill the Moon just because
just to be just to be
what I like
controversial.
about Capaldi is he's very good with children, even though he's an older,
Yes, that's
incarnation.
true as well. Yeah, we're reaching the end of series 8, the finale, Dark Water, Death in Heaven. I think I'm gonna argue for putting this quite high. I think I would probably say the first half is the better one. I think it falls apart a little bit in the second part, and I've kind of gone back and forth with it over the years when I've watched it back on rewatches. And sometimes I think, oh yeah, that is the story that I remember it, being as good as it was.
Mm.
Sometimes I watch it back and stuff like the like we were saying, the Clara Who thing, the whole gag in the pre-titles of Death in Heaven, and things like that. I think, oh yes, there are these Moffatisms in here that I was perhaps a little bit blinded to as a child, but now watching it back, it's annoying, and I just want, like, when there are little moments of silliness or innuendo as well. I'm just thinking, I want this story to like remain dark and just like keep going and you know, do all the Sideman stuff, and it keeps slightly sort of holding it up with these little moments and distractions and things along the way.
My thing is I think they're both two really strong episodes of Doctor Who together. Does it go too dark? Because this is what I describe as a Torchwood theme. There's literally "Don't cremate me" as a
Yes.
line, and it's a bit like great Torchwood plot, but for Doctor Who, considering it's obviously for family audience viewing and also multicultural viewing, you know, it's
Yes.
like you can understand why it
Sure.
ruffled feathers at the time, and it's a choice, is what I will say. And I love the whole plot with the Cybermen, like upgrade the mind, upgrade the body. You know, that's a different way of doing it,
Uh-huh.
and that way with like the Neversphere.
Yeah.
And then you get the
Love
nice
all that
plot
sort of
line
stuff
about
and St.
Danny killing
Paul's
a
and
child. It's it's an odd one.
yes, yeah, that yeah. And perhaps it was a little bit underbaked, that whole plot line as well.
Yeah.
And a little bit kind of just like, oh, we'll just throw that in here as well.
The funniest bit is at the end of the cliffhanger is literally him turning you could see in the camera view, he's turning the iPad to face the kid. It's the most undramatic thing ever.
Oh yeah, and I think I was reading actually
Yeah.
because Doctor Who magazine, they covered it in their Fact of Fiction feature recently, which kind of goes into the behind the scenes of these things of an episode each month. And I'm pretty sure it said that the original cliffhanger was going to like continue, and it was going to be, I think like you said, it was going to be him like facing the kid or something, like rather than cutting away on the iPad screen. It was literally going to be him like facing the kid or going back into the room with the kid, or the kid coming back in or whatever. And that kind of sounded like
A bit
an even
odd.
more bizarre place to like end it. Like, oh, that's the cliffhanger, is it? Having had the brilliant Missy reveal and everything
Yeah.
beforehand, and I mean, Michelle is great in this, and I think that was the first time we had a regeneration with a gender swap in it, and yeah, like.
It
It's kind of
works
amazing
flawlessly.
how,
It
yeah,
suits that
how
role.
understated and how well it worked and how people got behind it as well. And yeah, she's fantastic as the master, as Missy,
It's
the
like
master, whatever.
the thing is, I believe Michelle Gomez is the master. Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, I kind of don't get, but I get like Joe Martin as the Doctor. Does that make
Okay.
sense? It's like that kind of vibe where
I mean,
this person
hold that
perfectly
thought for another tier list, perhaps.
suits
But
this
yeah,
role for another one.
no,
But
I've heard that stuff before. You know, yeah, it's an interesting one. I would say. I mean, are we agreed that Dark Water is the stronger one, or do you
the
think
stronger of the two.
level pegging? Yeah, level
The
pegging
ending's a bit muddy here because Clara has about 57 billion endings coming up.
of Death in
So
Heaven. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So I think Dark Water definitely in this tier somewhere. I would probably say, yeah, I'd probably say there. I think, and then Death in Heaven, maybe like here. Do you think, or below?
yeah, below
Do you think
flatline.
yeah, but that do you think that's still that
Yeah,
tier a
that
good
works.
episode? Yeah, uh-huh.
It's just Death in Heaven for Clara and the 12th Doctor, I feel, had the perfect ending, which is really weird to me because we all know she was originally meant to leave in the next episode, which is Christmas, was the original plan,
Yes,
wasn't it?
yeah.
But it doesn't, it feels like she was supposed to leave in this
Well,
episode, which
I
begs
think actually
the
maybe
question.
even at one point it was going to be Series 8, and then it changed a number of times.
Push
But I
back.
think, yeah, um, at a very early stage, perhaps it was going to
Yeah.
be Series 8. But yeah, it
Because
just
in the
feel
next
weird. Like,
episode, was
although
Shona supposed to be the next companion? Or is that being
I'm not
rumoured
sure it
for
ever
ages?
got to that stage,
Yeah.
but I think kind of again vaguely at an early draft stage, perhaps it was the line of thought
Implied.
that it was that. Yeah, I mean, one thing I do like about the way that was handled and with this story as well, Last Christmas. I like how it's like a reunion for the Doctor and the Companion. They've had a bit of time apart, a bit of time away. They've got like some baggage and some stuff to deal with, and the way things are left, where they're basically lying to each other about different things. I love the aesthetic of it, like the North Pole base and Santa Claus, and again, like with Robin Hood, it's like the Doctor meets this kind of well, supposedly mythical figure, and they're kind of having it out. I think watching it back more recently, I just can't
It's
quite
the
get away
ending
from the
that's
feeling
absolutely
that.
rushed.
Well, I just think that whole
It's
thing
been
of like, oh,
changed.
we're going to reveal that we're in a dream, oh, but we're in another dream.
A dream.
Oh, but we were in another dream all along. And like the kind of the onion thing of that, of different layers, just kind of constantly playing that same reveal again and again. It just kind of feels like going over the same ground. It feels aimless. It feels like it's not, yeah, it's not going anywhere. And even at the end, it's like, oh, are they still in a dream because there's a
Yeah, of
Satsuma
course.
here, and it's like, is Santa Claus real? And you know, so I think it's a complex one for me. This one, I think on a plot level, it doesn't necessarily work.
Let's just be grateful they didn't do the original ending, because wasn't the original ending she was supposed to kick the bucket? So they have that really nice scene where they pull the cracker to mirror Eleven and Clara
Oh
from
yeah,
Time of
it
the
was like she
Doctor.
was dead all along or something.
Or
Yeah,
she was supposed to be dead or something
yeah,
weird, and it just would have been a
bizarre.
really weird way to end Christmas. Happy
Yes,
Doctor Who.
yeah, that's quite right. So with this, I reckon similar territory to Deep Breath for me, and probably slightly higher than Deep Breath, but somewhere in that tier, somewhere in that row.
Above Robot of Sherwood, I'd put it
Do you think
personally.
maybe that? Yeah,
Not quite as good as
stick it
Into the
there.
Daleks.
Stick it
Yeah.
there. Oh, Series 9 opener
Hard
is a
reset for
similar.
12.
It's a similar one as well, actually, where there's stuff I like in this a lot. There's also stuff that I find grating and like the Moffatisms, and particularly that first part where it's just treading so much water to get to like the reveal of them all that being on Skaro and oh it's Davros and you know I love the aesthetic of like the redesigned Skaro like control room and having all those Dalek designs there, even though it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And having Davros back and the whole idea of him meeting Davros as a child, having Missy in there as well. It's like the Missy and you know, the Master and Davros and the Doctor and the thematic stuff about friends and enemies, and it's very juicy, particularly when Clara gets inside the Dalek casing in the second half. But yeah, again, there's some stuff here that just kind of misses the mark for me. I think kind of
You
gets in
know
the
when a lot
way.
of people switched off? It's when he came out on that fucking tank, innit? Like, that bit's
It
good
was a
up until he
choice,
starts
wasn't it,
cracking jokes. You know what I mean? And you just sat there like, hurry up.
dude?
Could the plot just have introduced the word dude several
Yeah,
centuries
dude.
early?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I would say which is familiar is the stronger half because of the Doctor and Davros conversations. Again, a bit of an obvious twist with Davros hoodwinking the Doctor into giving him the regen energy, but I don't mind it too much. I quite like the Daleks with the regen energy as well, and like kind of foreshadowing like the Cybernasters later on, and the idea of the hybrid and Missy's
Davros
like being
opening his
amongst it
eyes,
all.
man, though, that's weird. That still sits funny
That's a
with me.
choice. That's a choice. Yes.
Bold.
A choice. And hey, probably the last time that we're ever going to see, well, possibly the last time we're going to see Davros in his original sort of form as well. If going forward we do stick with
Well,
the newer.
Russell T Davies might not have a job much longer, so there, so
Yes.
you don't
Although, I
know.
mean, I should say on that point as well, and I know there are different opinions on how that was handled for the children need thing. Although, of course, the bit in this where there's the whole Dodgem scene and Davros is ripped out of his chair and left on the
Oh
ground
shit, I forgot about that bit.
is not yeah.
Doesn't age well, does it? Given
Not
context.
didn't age well that bit. No, that's kind of I know people have said that that's really kind of like yeah offensive and just like why would you do
It's
that?
just like, what on
It's
earth?
another example of this era, I suppose, kind of just like pushing the
Just being
boundaries
off the
and
bat,
doing
yeah.
doing some slightly controversial stuff and distasteful stuff. So look, Magician's Apprentice, I would say shut up, honestly. I think, or maybe bottom of Say Something Nice, and then
Shut
Which is
up.
Familiar, I would put in.
Bit higher.
Should we put that there? And then Which is Familiar, I
It
would
has
probably
less offensive
say,
bits.
yeah, well, apart from the bit we've just mentioned, but I
Oh yeah, but like the actual plot of it goes somewhere at least. You know what I mean?
which of
Isn't just
those is better? Should we stick it there? Let's stick it there.
nah. It's better Into the Daleks. At least a better character piece
Do you
for the
think?
Doctor and the Dalek.
Go
Yeah,
on then.
he should have shot Clara in the face. That would have made it interesting.
God. Right. The lake two-parter and the lake before the flood, the ghosts and the lake setting. I think this is probably the strongest story from this season, to be honest, or certainly the strongest standalone story. It holds up really well, I think, to be honest.
I think the second part's better than the first. Like the messing around with time. Because they don't do, considering it's a time
Oh,
travel
interesting.
show,
Interesting.
they
Yeah.
oddly, you know, a bit like when he tries to go back to the base and break the rules and TARDIS rejects
Yes.
him,
Yes.
and then he's got to stay out of his own time stream. It's
Yeah.
got like a lot of people who write time travel unfortunately struggle with it, while this is
Mm.
treated really well. Like literally,
Yeah.
we don't step on a butterfly, we can't,
Uh-huh. I think
you
it's
know.
very creative, like, and that idea as well of the two halves, and one half is sat like after this big event, like the flooding of
Mm.
this base or whatever, this village. The second half is like the origin story, like going back in time and the interplay there. Um,
And he has that brilliant line of, "You can't go back and cut tragedy off at the root because then you find yourself
yes,
talking to someone you just saw on a slab."
yes, and of course all that stuff as well,
Yeah,
and with the Doctor Clara relationship, it's all kind of foreshadowing what's going to happen later
at
on,
the end of the
which
series.
yeah
Yeah,
is even more delicious to watch back. I would say pretty high for both of these. I mean, it's interesting you think the second half is strong because I think generally speaking people say the first half is,
I think
but
first half just it takes a bit of time to get going. That's where my problem is
I
with
guess
it.
it's set up as like well, easy part to
Yeah.
an extent. It's
Other than the Fisher King getting like blown away by a tsunami and it
yeah,
looks a bit ridiculous.
and you kind of wish there was more time spent with him as well.
Yeah.
It's a great design. But even so, with all that, I still think this is a great story. And the Who
It's bottom of
composed
heaven
Beethoven's
sent, I
fifth thing
think,
as
just
well,
because
and the
that
way
first
that.
part's a bit slow.
Oh, yeah. So you think, yeah, both at there.
Both in heaven sent,
I could get
but I've
behind that.
rated.
I think, yeah. You see, it's breaking my heart to not have listen up there as well with them. But hey ho,
I know.
hey ho. So Maisie Williams joins
Oh,
Doctor Who as Ashilda. Now again, we get some nice stuff here, playing into the 12th Doctor's arc.
Is she Susan? That's what the
God, yeah,
theory
at the
was
time
at the
that was,
Do you
that was a
remember
big
that?
thing, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, I do now. Now you say it. Now you mention it. Yeah.
What took you so long, old man? Like, why?
Yeah,
They
and they
knew
know
what they
they
were
knew
doing.
exactly what they were doing there. So it's yeah, to an extent, it's not surprising. Girl Who Died, I would say actually is a little bit underrated. I think a bit like with Robot of Sherwood, there's some nice stuff in there, like with the character stuff, and I think it's dismissed as being a bit of a silly story, whereas actually there's a nice kind of spine to it. Woman Who Lived,
Dog
no,
shit.
yeah, it just
Right.
yeah. There's some nice aesthetic stuff, nice moments, but
Hard
there's
to
just
defend
such
it.
a lot of treading ground, treading water, sorry, with Ashilda, and you know eventually she's going to come good and like see the lights, but like she spends so much of that story just like denying everything and like saying to the Doctor, "You made me this way, Doctor," and it's all like ooh dramatic, and I admire the vision of it, but I think in execution it doesn't quite work. So I would say Woman Who Lived is going in the vault.
Girl Who Died, top
Do we
of
think
Shut Up.
below those, or is In the Forest of the Night better?
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Yeah. Crikey. Okay. And then Girl Who Died, I think Stop Shut Up. I think.
Top of Shut Up. It's a bit
Yeah.
better.
Okay, yeah.
It's the
Okay, yeah.
it's a two-parter that's not
It's not better
it's
than
the only
Deep
real
Breath.
two-parter in here that's not part of a you know that's not quite it's a bit like Utopia Sound of Drums kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean they play with
Where
that a
there's
lot, don't
separate
they? In
stories.
this season, yeah. Which of them count as two-parters and which don't? And then we have on next, obviously the Zygon two-parter, recently covered on the round table, which may or may not have come out yet. Can't remember, not sure. I mean, we had a lot of
Funny
praise
one.
for on the round table actually, and the Zygons in general. It was kind of a broader discussion about the Zygons. We didn't so much get into the nitty gritty of this story. I think it is a funny one. Part one is saying this big kind of global adventure, and there's so much going on. It kind of feels like just rein it in a bit, actually. Like, you know, we're off in Mexico or
Keep it
whatever,
closer
and
to
then
home, you know what I mean?
somewhere in the Middle East or wherever it is, and the UK bit, obviously. Yeah. I admire the vision of that and the James Bond kind of feel, the big global thriller, political thriller. But then in the second part, it kind of narrows down again. It
It
becomes
slows
very
down and it's a bit
yeah, and it kind of all
boring.
comes down to this one, you know, the Bonnie Zygon, and we discussed this in the round table a little bit as well with the political allegory of this story and how it kind of
At
it
the
plays
time,
into a lot of the
what it
imagery of and like terrorism and the terrorist attacks at the time and terrorist groups at the time
and
and the
it's should
imagery
you
of
be
like
doing a story on that
political
with
broadcasts and things. And yeah, it feels a little bit close to the bone. 'Cause I remember that, you know, it was quite affecting at the time. It kind of felt like scary and like, oh, you know, yeah. It kind of it
was
touches
this
something
the
in you
same
kind of thing.
year?
But
I could be wrong. The Manchester incident as well.
I think that was 2017. But we were saying there was an attack which took place or a series of
What was-
attacks that took place in
yeah.
Paris the week
Oh
after
yeah,
the
that's the
second
one.
part, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
And yeah, like, at the time, it felt like there was a lot of that kind of stuff going on. You know, 2014, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, I think
Feels
the
like ages
doomsday
ago, doesn't
clock and all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah.
Like everyone was on high alert, and yeah, there was a lot of stuff like that. I do think there's a bit of a conversation to be had, like with the Doctor's speech in the second half as well, and it feels a bit naive the way it's kind of resolves itself. Like, oh, here's Bonnie, she's this terrorist Zygon, but hey, it's okay, she looks like Clara, and actually she's
That
like
doesn't
capable.
sound like a good sentence.
She's capable of like being. She can be redeemed, and like she's good. Really, she can become the second
Yeah.
Osgood, and it feels slightly a bit convenient there.
Clunky,
That
yeah.
you would have. I know it's Doctor, and again, like they can't get like it too weighty with it.
They can't imprison her or be like, you've got a life sentence.
No,
for these.
it's got to resolve in the end, and whatever. There's some weird stuff as well. Like the whole like, what's that Zygella thing about that nickname and Basil, Doctor Disco, all those like things that are thrown around,
And then
and
there's
the
also
the
bit at the
constant
end.
thing with Osgood, like, oh, is she the Zygon? Is she the human? And that kind of gets
Diminish
played
the script in
a
every
lot
way.
as well.
Oh, we've done this the last 17 times or whatever line it is.
Oh, for the
That's what you
the
said.
Black Archive bit. Yeah, big ideas, big stuff going on here, the locations and everything. It's very expansive and perhaps doesn't quite come together or say everything that needed saying. Perhaps ultimately. So where are we going to put it? Where are we going to put it
Bottom of say something nice, I think.
for both parts?
First
I
part's better than the second. Isn't
Yeah, I think that. Cause, yeah,
it? Yeah.
just thinking back to what I said about last Christmas earlier, and then yeah, maybe that one. Yeah, it can go kind of right there. I think. Sleep No More. Are we Sleep No More defenders, or are we going with the bandwagon thing of oh it's rubbish? It's
I think Topper
it's no
shuts
good.
up. It's bad, but it was experimental. It tried.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It tried
Yes.
something new.
I
Even if
think
it is
I always
killer
was a
dust.
bit of a defender in the past. I think when I watched it most recently, I kind of saw more of its flaws and was a bit more frustrated with like the way it just doesn't go anywhere at the end. And it's like, oh, so what was this? What was the whole point of it? What was going on? And some of the characters and the acting and stuff as well. Yeah, I think Topper Shuts Up is fair. I think it again is one that's kind of overlooked and like you say, it was experimental
And that
work.
Mr.
Well, it's not
Sandman
it's not
song,
surprising.
What on earth?
Oh, but I like that's one of my favourite parts of it because it's like it's all spooky.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
Why would
but
it be?
yeah, it's just like oh, it's a spooky song and it adds to the whole ambience of it. But there we go.
Wasn't there going to be a sequel to it as well that didn't get written?
Oh, I think yeah. I think
10.
when Mark Gatiss was doing his series 10 episode, one of the options was to do a sequel, but then he thought it might be my last episode for a while, if not ever. I'm going to do Ice Warriors again instead. And fair enough, I suppose.
Be
He's a big
grateful.
Ice Warriors stan. Ooh, Face the Raven. I always thought of this as overrated. Did you? Or were we on the same sort of ground
There's a
here?
lot of faffing about to get to a
Yes.
death. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I think that the scene of her death, well, maybe not the actual moment itself, or like you see the same thing from 300 different
It's
angles.
the scream.
But the
How
the silent
ridiculous
scream.
it is.
But the bit with like Capaldi beforehand, where the two of them are in that room, I think that is golden. It's so good.
Yeah, of
Like
course.
the two of them, like just like at the top of their game, like one of the best scenes ever for like a companion departure.
It's
Doctor
just a
companion
shame at
relationship.
the end she looks like she's smoking weed if she dies. Like,
Oh, with the cloud. Yeah. But yeah, I never quite got the love for the rest of it beforehand, to be honest. Like there is this sense of doom when something bad's going to happen, but it kind of feels quite predictable and I don't know, quite small scale and almost like you're just waiting for that moment, waiting for her death, which sounds bad to say. But yes, I think for me, for this, I would probably put it
Somewhere
a
good.
good episode.
Yeah, not mid. So it's got a bit more
Maybe
going for it.
like
It's an experimental
yeah,
concept.
I'd probably say maybe
And I do like the
maybe
trap
there,
street.
somewhere like that. Yeah, I like the idea of it. Again, it kind of feels like one where maybe the ideas are kind of bigger than there's enough space for to properly develop.
Not like they ever
So-
used it again, but oh well.
Well, they used the set, didn't they? A few stories
Well, yeah,
later,
sure.
as we'll get on to, I suppose. So, the finale, Heaven Sent, Hellbent. Heaven Sent, I think, speaks for itself. If we don't put
It's
that
the
in the
top
Heaven
of
Sent
Heaven
here,
Sent, isn't it? Like,
I think
that's
that'll be
why
very
that's the
surprising.
best.
Enough said. It's a story that I mean, it's a bit like the Day of the Doctor. It's one that, like, I feel like I have seen it many times, which in this case it's very fitting given the content and the whole
Yeah, of
reveal at the
course.
end. But it is good and it's acclaimed for a reason and it works. And yeah, like enough said. Having
Name
him
me
there
one
for an
other
hour,
actor who could do a story that is basically a monologue.
yes,
Like,
absolutely.
and that's why he's the best and will always be the best.
Hellbent. Where do we sit with this? I'll let
Uh,
you
dr-
start
Drops
this
off a
one off.
cliff, doesn't it?
See,
They
I
go back to Gallifrey. There's some interesting
yeah,
bits. Then they bring her back to life. Then she can't be brought back to life. Then there's some interesting drama moments at the end of the universe. And then they kind of just go off in the TARDIS at the end. And then he wakes up after having a really bad night out somewhere in the middle of a desert.
yes. It's kind of it's when you put it like that, yeah, it's like it's wild. I think ultimately I still do like it. I like it less than I used to. I used to be quite a Hellbent defender, like with other stories we've discussed. Like I see more of the flaws and the frustrating parts of it now, like baiting fans into thinking that was going to be like a Gallifrey story, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's just all about the Doctor and Clara, which I totally support on a separate like thing. It's like, oh yeah, the way that resolves, I think, is great. And I remember at the time when people were saying, oh, like why did she come back, or you know what I mean, like, oh, she died, they should just left her death be. I suppose
It
I'm
is like a
not
double-edged
so
sword,
much of
though.
a fan of the fact that she goes off in a TARDIS at the end, but I do like the way that we get like the Doctor forgetting her and how those two scenes, the one here and then Face the Raven, they mirror each other, and it's like this idea that oh, it's the hybrid, this partnership, and they both kind of have to suffer. They both have to like have something taken away from them in order to kind of like move forwards. In Clara, it's the case of her life, and in the Doctor, in the case of him, it's just his memories of her.
It
And
just
that is
doesn't
everything
feel
going
like
too
this was the
far as
plan,
well.
though, because I feel like Moffat had this thing
Well,
where
it
he wrote
wasn't
this
the
and went,
original plan, was it? I suppose to do this with Clara.
there's
Not
Gallifrey,
all the
that's
way.
what this is. Oh, there's Gallifrey. But it feels like in Series 8, it meant
Yeah.
more, it was more of a linchpin, him going
Oh
back, like
yeah,
it was going to be built
yeah.
up to, and then it just feels a
That's
bit of a
interesting.
damn
Maybe the
squib.
fact that Jenna stayed on, kind of, and he had to conclude her
Quickly.
tenure as well on the show. Maybe that kind of
Skybosh the plan.
yeah, exactly messed with it a bit and meant they couldn't do everything with Gallifrey that they might have done. Because it's still weird that up until what the Jodie era, that's like the last we see of Gallifrey, and it's just all kind of forgotten again so quickly and Rassilon and everything,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh, what was the point almost? I am nevertheless going to fight for this being in, I want to say, a good episode at the very bottom. Either that or maybe the top of Say Something Nice, I think.
Topper say something nice, I'll let you have it. I think it's lower down, but
There we
Hellbent
go.
defenders in the chat.
The Husbands of River Song. So you said we've already had the last great Christmas special. I think
Yeah,
this for me,
atrocious.
no. Oh
It's
gosh,
atrocious. It is
it's
atrocious.
great. It's great. It is great. It's a Christmas comedy romance.
So cringe.
I mean, it's daft, yeah. Like, and the whole thing of her
That
not
writing
realizing
at the
who he
end.
is and what on Beryllium.
Yeah, they lived happily ever after or whatever.
Oh, the
that
right. I
is.
thought it was lighting. The writing. Yeah.
Writing,
Yes. And then the fact that that was the last thing we saw for like a whole year as well, like a year's hiatus.
Oh yeah, other than Class, that was questionable.
Yeah, I do like this. I think he works very well with River Song. Dare I say, better than any of the other Doctors really, and it's a joy to see them together. And it's a daft
It's the
plot.
whole
It's
hydroflaxing
stupid,
and
but
switching heads. And Matt
yeah,
Lucas,
but
he's so irritating in this, and they wasted Greg Damon.
but it's good fun. I think. I think for me, what am I going to say with this? I'm going to put it there.
God's sake.
Right. Return of Doctor Mysterio, on the other hand, perhaps I'm less defensive of this one, or more indifferent to it. So, what would you suggest for where we put this?
More irritating, more rubbish. Burn it.
Shut up.
Shut up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Topper shut up at least. It's a bit
Yeah,
of fun.
I think that feels fair. It's like Sleep No More. It's another kind of experimental, like it goes in a
Also,
different
the
direction.
brains, they never came back. They possessed a unit soldier. I don't know if that was
Yes, another
supposed
kind
to be
of
a plot line.
non sequitur, just abandoned.
Yeah.
I mean, great and cool, and I love them actually, and the whole thing with that. But it goes nowhere. It's very of its time, that one as well. Like, oh, it's a time when superhero movies were big, the show was
Let's
kind of big,
attempt
and
one.
well, the show had been big in America. It's one of those things where it feels like they're just coming to it a little bit too late. Like all these
Yeah.
things have peaked, like popularity of Doctor Who in America, popularity of like the Marvel movies or whatever, or superhero movies in general. And Doctor's like, oh, let's have a go at doing that, but that they come to it slightly too late for it still to be relevant. Perhaps.
Oh,
Now,
yeah,
I'm
of
not a
course.
massive superhero buff or anything, but
But
that's kind
that's
of the
Doctor
feeling I
Who
get.
for you. It does things 5 years later.
Yes,
It's
yes,
part of the
exactly.
course.
Well, look at the Whoniverse, and yeah, exactly.
How terrible that is.
Series 10, the pilot.
I go back and
I
forth on this one. I
yes,
think it's
I
a
do.
nice
I
soft
do.
reboot,
Yes,
but the plot's just a bit. We're here.
it's
We're
wafer
here.
thin.
Oh shit! It's a
It's like, oh,
Dalek.
let's go off to this planet. Yeah, let's go off to the Dalek and Velen War. Bit of this, bit of this, bit of this. So here's a vault.
Yeah.
Um, ultimately, I do like the vibe of it and the whole university thing and the professor idea, the lecturer with Capaldi
It's
with the 12th Doctor. He
it's
feels
also
very at home
weirdly
in that
shot
setting.
at times. Like, but they tried to shoot it so it's like as terrifying as the Weeping Angels. This is going to be, and there's some really scary stuff
Oh,
like when she's
with
in the
Heather.
puddle and reaches out. But then there's some bits where she's chasing Bill at night, and it just looks like she's pissing herself. You know, like in
Oh,
the
right.
woods.
I hadn't
It's
quite
just
thought of that before. I'd thought of the penguin with its arse on fire, but not the Heather pissing herself through the woods. Okay, I have to look
well,
out
I
for that.
think
Yeah.
it's outside the uni campus, but I'm just like,
Right.
it,
Yeah.
there's just some weird bits that take me out where I'm just like, this is poorly directed.
One thing I always think about her as well, like with Heather, like I think here you get the impression that obviously Bill's interested in her. She's not really interested back. I would say it's more the alien oil
Yeah.
thing that's reciprocating it or appearing to, and then the way that resolved at the end of the series, I always felt a little bit that was a little bit. I like the idea of
I
that,
love
great,
Puddle Girl.
and go for it, and have this romance. But if it was set up a bit more here, that actually she does like her back, and that was kind of, you know what I mean? Because it feels like a more unrequited thing here, which I think works quite nicely, and that then gives Bill that reason to go off into space and
Try and
find
it if it
other
was written
things
better.
to keep herself entertained. So where should we put this? I think
Mid is very mid, top of mid maybe.
above Hellbent. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be happy with that. Yeah. Okay. So the rest of Series 10, Smile. Are we smiling about Smile?
Not really. It's all right. Base under siege kind of thing again.
It's a cool location, coolish road. Like again, the emoji thing was a
Malfunctioning tech.
bit after
Yeah.
the fact. Malfunctioning tech. Yeah, exactly. Ralph Little is wasted. It's just basically like the two of them wandering around this city, isn't it? For ages, like for 40 minutes. And something about a fish. Is it a fish at the end?
I have no
That
idea.
story he tells about a fish or something. I don't know.
All I
Bizarre,
remember
isn't
is that he says something that's very undoctorly, where he says, "Oh, I've got this childish impulse to blow it up." It's
Oh, yeah.
a great big smiley abattoir. It just comes out
Yes.
of nowhere.
Yes.
He doesn't think like there could be humans there or anything. He's just like, "Oh, arson."
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Right. So where does this fit? Shut up.
Yeah, top,
Top shut
top
up.
of shutter.
Yeah.
We need to start putting
Thin
stuff in
ice.
heaven sent.
Thin ice. Well, yeah. Well, there's. I can see
Some potential contenders.
two contenders coming up as far as I'm concerned.
One.
Maybe. Well, we'll see. Thin Ice again, like Sarah Dollard's other episode, Face the Raven. This to me is kind of just like fine. It's kind of retreading some old ground with the whole thing about that kid, the doctor, the kid who goes underground. The doctor like takes the Sonic, and Bill's like, oh, how cruel of you to have done that or whatever, or to not have helped him, and oh, have you ever
was
killed
dead.
someone or whatever? The whale thing, whatever it is a kind of a rehash of the star whale and that whole thing, and
It's just
is it another
say
shut
something
up.
nice again. It's
I
mid.
feel like a lot of these. Would you put it? Okay,
I'd put it mid again.
I reckon. I reckon
I'm not
maybe some of
clamouring to
there-ish,
watch it.
perhaps there-ish.
Yeah.
I think.
It's like mid of the mid.
Knock knock. Similar sort of story with this one again.
The
Possible.
landlord was weird advertisement as well because they were like bigging him up to be.
Oh, it was like a
you know,
Time Lord.
so-
Yeah.
It's David
David
Suchet.
Suchet. Yeah.
Yeah, complete waste, might I add.
Possibly a bit underrated, I'm tempted to maybe say, but I've never thought much of this. I've always thought it doesn't quite come together at the end. Like, The creature is great. His is it mother or daughter? And then I completely forgot. It's his mother, isn't it? Oh, that's right. It ties into the whole thing of Bill's mother,
Yeah,
kind
it's
of,
his
and
mother. Yeah,
yeah. Which again, it
uh,
feels like a weird twist. Like it doesn't really add much to it, and the whole thing where it's like, oh, she's there with the fireworks. It's like, oh, the university freshers are doing their fireworks. And it just doesn't quite come together. I can kind of see what they're
also,
going for, but it doesn't
how does
quite work.
everybody get restored at the end after being eaten by beetles? Please explain this to
Yeah,
me.
I don't mind that as much as other people, to be honest. But
And
yeah,
does the house collapse at the end? Because there's like a deleted scene where he becomes the landlord, but then
yes,
there's like
that
an ending where the house collapses, and I'm like, what's going on?
it's a bit ambiguous, isn't it, as to what
Yeah.
happens there.
Bottom or shut up. I think
Do you?
it's worse
Oh
than Time Heist.
no, I'm not going to put it all the way down there. I mean, it's
It's
bad.
bad.
It's not good, but it's kind of. I would
You're
probably
not going to sugarcoat
say
it.
I'd put it there. Yeah, I think something like that. Oxygen.
Bottom
Is
of Heaven
this as
10.
good as people say? Okay,
I
it's
think it's
ages
very
since I've
good.
watched it, to be honest.
Admittedly, I think Peter Capaldi's
The
blind acting is a bit questionable at times
oh right, yeah. I think
because he
the whole
looks directly
capitalism
at
thing with the
people.
suits is very clever, isn't it? That whole pun
Yeah.
and it's nice to have new space suits. Like this is the first time I think, or one of the first times we had new space suits. Because for years it had just been like bring the orange ones out, the Sanctuary Base 6 ones. So I went to town with the costume design there, and the monsters are cool. The zombies,
And at least it's not malfunctioning tech, it's actually a corporation killing the
yeah.
organic
I,
components.
I'll let you have that then. We'll stick it up there.
There we
I
go.
don't dislike it, but I need to watch it again. I think to work out whether I fully agree.
Fair.
Extremis or extrremis, I don't know
Well, it's
which one
whatever
it's
is
meant to be. Yeah,
the Doctor Who
I
does religion.
really yes. This is another one that I really do like. Actually, I think the only thing I would say is some of the Missy stuff feels disjointed to say the least. Like the way
Do
that's
you
kind
want
of
to know what my problem is with it? Nothing's continued. So the way the monks conquer the earth in the next few parts has
okay.
nothing like it's not quite the same, is it? Where they don't delve into
I've
they're
seen that
like
said by people
messiahs,
before. I've seen people say that. Yes.
but they don't
Um.
use a similar tactic, you know what I mean? It just seems strange that it's supposed to be a simulation, and yet to
mm,
conquer the earth that we use in this very it just feels very disjointed where like the religious
Yeah.
aspect
Sure.
is clearly they're supposed to be the messiahs saving earth and to be
Mm.
praised and that's how extremis kind of links in, but what's the thing with the veritas about the absolute truth, you know what I mean? What does that have to do with them conquering the earth and everyone effectively, you know?
Yeah, I think the thing that works for me about this is the more self-contained stuff with it, like the whole idea of it being a simulation and that truth and the suicide thing. Okay, again, it's kind of pushing the boundaries a bit, but it's like the thing at the end of the Doctor, like the simulated Doctor contacting the real Doctor, and
That works
that,
really nicely.
yeah, and it plays into that whole Moffat thing of like we've said about the Doctor, who is a Doctor? Is the Doctor a good man? Like, are you the Doctor if you're just a simulation of the Doctor, and all that kind of weird like meta stuff of like making your brain explode. But I really like this. So I'm gonna say Heaven Sent for this. I'm not sure if you feel the same way, but it's going
It's
up there
got to be
because
bottom of heaven sent.
I let you have listen. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick it there. Okay.
My heart breaks. Jesus.
Well, it makes two of us. And so yeah, the rest of this trilogy doesn't quite reach that same
Fizzles
height.
out, basically.
Yes, I think that's totally
I've
fair.
just thought the conclusion of Lie of the Land, but we got to get Pyramid at the end of the world out of I completely forgot how this all leads
It's
to a
another one
climax.
like I mean Peter Hans again. It's another like the Zygon two-parter where it's dealing with these weighty world global political issues.
Were these all separate writers for this three-part thing?
They're all separate writers, and
That is
this one
really weird.
I seem to remember as well. I think Stephen Moffat's mother was basically dying at the time, and so he wasn't
Yeah.
as across it as he should have been or wanted to be. So he kind of admitted that there is some kind of
Because
inconsistency,
wasn't this
or just
supposed
like
to be
a
the blockbuster difference for this series? Was there was supposed to be like a middle
yeah. And
trilogy?
actually, even though I would say yeah, it doesn't quite work. I still would defend it ultimately, or the ambition of it. I think having that trilogy in the middle of the series, I suppose the only thing apart from Missy cropping up in the next episode, it feels quite disjointed from the rest of the series in terms of the bigger arc, whatever going on. that's the only thing. But I certainly like the idea of having that big kind of benchmark thing midpoint of the series and having a focus and attention there. And we've got something exciting going on here. So Pyramid, I guess, is another.
It's a good episode, I'd say. That
Yeah,
bloody
I'd be
guitar
tempted
turns
to
up as well, though.
put it in the middle tier somewhere, like above the likes of Zygon Inversion. Probably maybe just like above Thin Ice, perhaps somewhere like that.
I
I
like
would
the
say.
world-ending event isn't a war or something. It's something so
Yeah,
random because
it's
that's
clever
like
the
so
way
real.
that plays
Yeah.
out, and the monks are creepy and all the imagery with them and everything. So Lie of the Land, yeah, doesn't come together. It's
New and void.
very broad strokes of the Orwellian stuff and
You think the Doctor's twisted and then he's not twisted. Could you imagine if we had an episode with evil Capaldi? Like, if anyone could have done it.
well, it's the closest we get, I suppose, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I don't hate the idea
The
of them
fake
doing
out
that because it's this
regeneration.
whole thing of like truth and lies and what's true
Yeah.
and what's a lie and like propaganda and fake news or whatever. But it feels like one of those things where they're just kind of doing it for the sake of it. It's like with the regeneration, like you say, and it feels a bit cruel and making Bill shoot him and yeah, it's just a bit brutal for a
And then
kid's
the
ultimately TV
relationship
show.
never goes anywhere because you'd think after an event like that,
Oh, with her and Bill.
where she thinks she shoots him, like,
Yeah.
I think the better way to write his regeneration full stop is that if he was holding back the regeneration for the full series and that was the catalyst,
Oh, because there was
like
speculation
it
about
went
it at the time, wasn't there? Yeah, that would have been interesting.
like that had caused it, and then over time they build that relationship back up. He'd forgive her for shooting him, and then
Yeah.
she'd forgive him for pushing her to that. You know what I mean? And then it's
Yeah.
goodbye.
Yeah.
But it would have been
That would have
bittersweet.
been nice. Yeah.
But
Better than what
it's
we
just
got, I think.
definitely glass people. But we'll get onto it.
So this one, I feel it's got to be Shut Up. Is it the worst of the series? No, it's not quite the worst of the series, but I would probably say languishing down there, I think. Do you think?
Well, therefore,
Or
it is
are we
the
putting
worst
it
of the series.
in the vault? No, it's not. Wait and see.
Wait and see.
Wait and see.
Oh,
Well,
wait,
the worst so far.
The eaters of SH1T.
Yes, exactly. You got it. So before we go,
Why is
Empress
it
of
night
Mars.
and light?
I know. Empress of
Right,
and both
right.
episode tens, aren't they? Empress of Mars. A bit of a nothing story. I feel like until we get to the finale now with this series, we had at the start of the series a few kind of nothing episodes. Then your big trilogy, which fizzles out, and some more nothing episodes, and then the amazing finale, obviously, mostly. But it's like these two are just a bit nothing. I don't
Empress of
hate
Mars
it.
is good.
I don't hate
I
it.
think it's good.
I don't really feel strongly about
Capaldi
it.
gets a line about Frozen. So
Yeah, if that floats your
that's
boat,
something.
I guess.
I'm reaching here.
So I'm just thinking, compared to the rest of Series 10 where we've put other things, I think,
Bottom of Zygon inversion. I prefer it to Smile at least.
yeah, I'll let you have it in the middle tier then, because, yeah, okay.
It's
That makes
inoffensive
sense.
and it's like Mark
Yeah.
Gatiss' love script or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Eaters of Light, on the other hand, as we've said, I think this is contender for the worst
The
episode of
worst
the era.
Capaldi episode, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I'm glad we're agreeing on that. That's great.
Is it worse
There we
that
go.
than Kill the Moon? That's because you've got three fairly bad episodes down here. I think Forest of the Night is kind of harmless. Aside its weird stuff.
I would say personally, it's
Yeah.
weaker. It's weakest of the era. It's such a nothing episode. It doesn't do anything or go anywhere, and it's just all about atmosphere and awe in Scotland.
Crows
It's
and
all
some
yeah,
other
exactly,
action.
and you can hear the music or whatever that crap's about, and it's just like it's not- like nice scene at the end with Missy, great. But the rest of it, no.
That's the only scene in it that's any good, isn't it? Where they're like, "Oh, are we kind of friends?"
Yeah. Oh dear. World Enough and Time, on the other hand.
Heaven Sent, it's got to
Yes.
be, but where it goes is contentious.
Oh, I think under Heaven Sent itself,
Oh
just-
yeah, but where does it fall within?
Well, I mean, like direct, I would say like there. Do you think, or do you prefer the?
The thing is,
two
knowing
parts
the
of it.
context, because I actually think Before the Flood is a better episode. Under the Lake, I think, should be lower, as we previously said. But I think
Yeah.
Before the Flood is better than what, because I don't think World Enough and Time goes far enough. Like, it's horrible Bill gets converted, but compared to Danny, it's like after they
Right.
did the Danny conversion, they toned it back a bit.
Yeah, and it's kind of treading over the same sort of ground again, isn't it? And
Because have
another
you seen the
Cyberman
concept
finale, and
Cyberhead? There's like a weird one. If you can
oh, I'm not sure I
Google it,
have. Okay,
there's like a
Cyberhead.
concept world enough and it's like a cyberhead and it's meant to be like
Yeah.
one of the experimental Cybermen. It's
Ah,
like the Mondas ones with like flesh, but it's like plastic, so this is all flesh, and then it's like
right.
socket eyes stitched on, and it's
Oh
like
wow.
really
Okay,
mangled and messed
I'll have to
up.
have a look at that. Yeah.
But I think they toned it back what they were going to do, and I think it was meant to be like, the top knots as they call them.
Mm,
I think it
yeah.
was meant to be a mid iteration between the final
A
Mondas
midpoint.
ones.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but they ended up not
Interesting.
showing it because it was a bit
Wow.
grim.
I'll have a look at that. Okay. I think. Yeah, I think it's got to be there. I toyed with putting it below Before the Flood, for you as you say, but I think because I think this two parts are overall and Heaven Sent they're the ones that are consistently voted the best of the era, and I think rightly so. I mean, I think that the second half of Doctor Falls,
It's a bit weird.
it does fall off. It just again, it's just kind of treading water until you get to the regeneration, and then even then, the regeneration doesn't even come properly until
Yeah.
another hour of crap at Christmas. So it's like, um, yeah, but even so, I mean, this one it has stuff like the whole speech to the masters,
That's a bit.
which
It's a bit mad that I think it's a bit forced.
I get, yeah, I guess, but I like the idea of that and the way the master thing comes together, where like they stab each other in the back essentially, and it's yeah, that self-destructive element to the character. Like they're never going to be able to fully stand
Also,
with the Doctor.
it
I
has
love
that
that. It's
weird
great.
innuendo
It's brilliant.
joke that Moffat can't help but
Oh, between the
resist.
two masters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that might be
Yes.
the worst one in his era. I think
Mm,
there's a few bad ones.
yeah. That could be a separate tier list, perhaps.
Separate video.
Yeah. Doctor Falls, then. I mean, by itself, where does it belong?
Bottom of Heaven Sent, I can live with
No, I'm going to say lower than
because
that.
you like listen.
Because I like listen. Yeah.
Listen to the
I
linchpin here. See, I don't like listen. It's a child under the bedspread.
I would say.
If it goes
Is
any
that what I
lower than that,
think?
I'm throwing hands.
All right, I'll leave it there. Yeah, okay.
Flatline is not better than that.
I was thinking maybe below Dark Water, but we'll leave it there. Um, and then there we go. Twice upon a time, the coda really more than the grand finale to the era. We've
It
already had
shouldn't
that.
exist. It
No,
shouldn't exist. Like, it was never meant to exist. It was written to retain a Christmas slot that ultimately they did away with anyway for New Year's. So, what was the point?
yeah, well, I guess it was to give us something in that 18-month hiatus.
David
But
Bradley's first Doctor is weirdly sexist, even though William
yeah,
Hartnell wasn't always like that.
I think with that, I mean, it works in the context of the story, but the minute you take it out of the
Think about
context of the
it.
story and you think, oh, okay, this is the first Doctor, the same character that appears elsewhere and was way back in the '60s, and it doesn't like the two just don't match at all. And there are other nice character beats and things with them in this story, but that stuff, yeah. I can kind of get the idea and the argument. Okay, you want to have a bit of like Christmas special humor or like contrast or argument or kind of disagreement between the two doctors. It's very broadly drawn, very kind of exaggerated, isn't it? Whereas yeah, like ultimately it's just
Also,
not very tasteful at all.
it's the beginning of the worst trend in the world.
Oh,
Doctors being present for other doctors' regenerations because everyone subsequently
every time since.
has
Yeah,
needed. Oh, don't worry, you'll be fine.
it
You'll
was a
just
nice
burn.
idea as a one-off,
But
like
multiple
for
occasions.
Capaldi, because of him being such a big fan. But yeah,
13
um,
basically having all the faces in the world.
yeah, like, including David Bradley again. I mean,
14 literally
won't
being in
stay
the
away,
same
will
room
he?
as
You just
15, and then 15
yes,
having Jodie.
it's very kind of incestuous, isn't it? It's called.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Yes. Um, yeah, please stop doing that. Okay, so I think we stick this in the vault.
Is it
Oh,
top and stick it in the vault? Do we forgive it for
yeah, I
no
think
man's
so
land scene?
because now I say that, yeah, there's that scene. I mean, it's kind of cliched, but yeah, it works, and there are some nice character beats and things in there, and it's like the culmination of like Moffat's. It's like him saying his final word on what he thinks about like his interpretation of the Doctor as a character, which I like. Although the regeneration speech itself, the whole thing about no one can hear your name apart
It's
from
literally,
children.
it's like
It's
a
just like
pissed Scotsman,
dragging it
like
out,
literally just sat
and
there
he's literally
drinking whiskey.
there on the floor like
Like,
except
ugh.
children, they can hear your name, and it's just like, come on. I admire the vision of that, the idea behind it, but no. Overall, in the Capaldi era,
It's not that bad, is it? Really? I
10 years on
Smith
at this point.
Smith was
Yeah,
worse than this.
yeah. There was more stuff. I felt there was more stuff lower down for Smith, didn't it, in the lower tiers?
Definitely in the lower tier, I think we had more Smith episodes, but this looks a
Yeah.
little bit more balanced.
So thoughts on this era to wrap up, I suppose. Does this reflect it well? I think it probably does. Myself, I would say so. I mean, like I was saying, series 10 gets a lot of love, and I do admire. I feel like I've said that a lot this video, but like
What
the
it tries to
idea,
do.
yeah, exactly, and the feel of it, and the more serialized nature of it. I think ultimately, still, I think series 8 is underrated, even though it goes quite far with some of the things with the Doctor's characterization, and I think I would still say that series 9 personally is my favourite, even though there are some kind of bits in there that don't work, and Moffatisms and things, and it's kind of a bit cringe at times, and a bit, but
Madman.
and even though I've criticised some of those episodes myself now, yeah, that was always my favourite as a child, so I think I'd say the same now. It would take a lot to kind of to change that, I think.
Series 9 is like where Doctor Who peaked for me. It's the end of the good era. Series 10 is where it starts to go a bit weird.
Oh, it's interesting. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
There's a few good eps in 10, but it's not. It's a bit like.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, yeah, I'm not certainly not with the consensus because, yeah, people kind of love it, and I get it with like Bill and stuff, and the culmination of the thing with Missy, but yeah, I don't think it's more than the sum of its individual parts and episodes. Series 10 for me, but yeah, no,
But
I think
regardless,
overall, I think this era, yeah, is a strong one. If you can look past some of those slightly more irritating aspects that were kind of creeping
Capaldi's
in.
great in all of them. Like,
Yes.
I can just say,
The best
Smith
Doctor.
can't always carry a script. Like, no offense to Smith,
Okay,
but
yes.
I feel like previous Doctors like David and Smith, you could see, or Tennant and Smith, I should probably say, they didn't carry a script as well as Capaldi. I feel like even the Titanic, if it was going down, Capaldi could save it. Like,
Yeah, delivering some monologue or something. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, I suppose we'll get onto the Jodie era one day in the future, which will be an
And then I
interesting
think
one, as we've said.
we do a
privately amongst
retrospective
ourselves.
of RTD1 eventually.
Okay,
Like once we've done
that would be
Jodie.
like 3 hours. But
No,
I
we
think
do RTD1 and 2 together and maybe get the other lads on.
maybe.
Because that'd be
That would
quite
be
interesting to
huge.
stack them against each other.
Yeah, maybe. 'Cause I was going to say that I think obviously I like the Jodie era more than most, but I like the Capaldi stuff at the time as well. And I suppose having liked the Jodie era at the time that was happening, the Capaldi stuff was like less in my mind. But I will say that going back to it now, having been away from it, during those years, or not watching it or rewatching it so much. Apart from those small niggles and things where I've said, I can see the flaws a bit more. I can see the cringiness, the innuendo, the stuff that was just becoming a little bit grating, and I can understand why fans at the time were not necessarily gelling with the Capaldi stuff so much. I still think overall, I enjoy it, and I think I just like the scope of the storytelling, like stuff with the Doctor and Clara and their arc in series 9, and the way that culminates. Okay, Hellbent isn't perfect, but just the ambition of kind of telling those big character arcs with actors like those, and for the most part, the writing being as good as it was as well.
It felt like the
It's something
last time
special. It's
before
something
the
special.
BBC or someone else got their hands on it, and character writing seems a bit limited nowadays, and I wonder if how much influence, you know, the media company have on that. This is the last era people felt like
Uh-huh.
real people, is the way I'd describe it.
And yeah, let us know in the comments below your
And
opinions
Russell, if
of
you're
the
watching,
Capaldi
go
era.
back to making Doctor Who like this.
Whoa. Okay, gosh. Oh dear.
But that's a good one to end on.
Yeah, there we go. Um, like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more. Um, check us out on TikTok, I guess.
Where this might get clipped or might not.
Yeah. And yeah, we'll see you again for some more tier lists in the future. Goodbye, Peter Capaldi.
Bye bye.
Never ever eat pears.